Hey, what's going on? Charlie here for Christmas on Crestline. Thanks for tuning in. Gonna do a live for you folks today. And see, I got it on there right. I do have it on there right. All right. Oh, hey, what's going on there? We've got Steve's in the house. Got Dram Fam. Eric's here. We got Crepe Paper. Very interested to see about what's happening. Oh man, do I have an announcement for you folks? Maybe even the best announcement. The biggest announcement we've ever made. We have, we're going to make an announcement. We're going to give folks here about 10, 12 minutes to come in here. Hey, Rob, how's it going? Good to see you. So we're going to give folks probably 10, 12 minutes to get in here. Kind of an impromptu. I haven't figured out when I'm going to do my Monday lives, 2:30. But I have probably the biggest announcement we've ever had on this show. So keep your bootstraps tied up because you're going to jump out of your chair when I tell you what we got planned. Oh, Stacy's here. Hey there, Stacy. Stacy up in the house. Yeah. Harold's here. Harold, nice. Thunderbird. Mr. Cash is in the house. Mr. Frank Cash. So yeah, I'm going to announce a few things about Christmas in July extravaganza today. My washers decided to make noise during the live, which is always nice. I almost forgot to close my blinds my curtains so my dog would not bark at passerbys. Why do dogs like to bark at other dogs? They're inside of a house. They can't hear you. Why bark? I don't know what that's about. Homer's Arcade. Haven't seen you in here before, Homer. So good to have you in here. Bill, Patreon Bill. Got a few Patreons here. We got Frank, Stacy, and Bill here today. Very nice. So yeah, I'm going to make some announcements about Christmas in July extravaganza. Going to talk a little bit about tomorrow's video. I was hoping I'd have it done today, and I was going to show you some snippets. But over the weekend, my crackhead of a son decided he wanted to turn 16 years of age and have 14 boys spend the night. So that was fun. We're still washing blankets and pillows from that ordeal. We went paintballing with 20 kids. Went paintballing. Luckily, it was 85 degrees and no shade, so we got lucky there. You know, don't want to have too much shade with a bunch of hot teenagers. That'd be silly, you know. So we went paintballing all day, then for 3 hours, and 3 hours of flag football. 10 pizzas, 2 ice cream, Dairy Queen cakes later. So yeah, had to recover from all that ordeal. Oh, that's Sibelia. Canadian Sibelias are in the house. And Michelle's here. Good to have you, Michelle. Oh, Braden's here. Braden's making an appearance. Braden, I thought you might still be in school today. Good to have you here. Braden is our newest Patreon member. As is Carl, but Carl's not in yet. He might still be sleeping. He's on New Zealand time. So yeah, I had way too many kids here this weekend. So I got filming done yesterday. Normally I film on Mondays, but I'm going to try to do lives on Mondays for about the next 90 days or so. So I did all my filming yesterday, and it's 8 o'clock, and Jean's all like, "You ready to go to bed?" I'm like, "Heck yes, I'm ready to go to bed. I don't need to stay up and see a blood moon. I've seen a blood moon. Let's go to bed." And then this morning I'm editing, and I'm like, I don't have any night footage of the lights that I spent all day hanging. Oh, yeah, I went to bed at 8 o'clock, so I got to do all that tonight. But I had a company reach out. I'm going to do tomorrow's video is going to be of a company we've never worked with before. Oh, Doris is here. Doris, Carl, I was just talking about you. Carl, a.k.a. Kiwi Christmas, is in the house. Carl is our second to most recent Patreon member. Carl and Braden are both in here, our two newest. And by the way, both your shout outs are coming tomorrow on tomorrow's video. So yeah, I had a new company reach out and say, "Hey, do you want to review some vintage retro lights, some outdoor lighting?" And right now I'm doing a series on springtime, summertime outdoor lighting. The first was security lights from Novastella. The second was, my RGB LED boom bass speakers from On4U, which are actually pretty awesome. So that was, and this will be the third in the series, and I have at least one or two more coming out just for outdoor lighting, patio lighting, backyard lighting, camper lighting. So that's coming out tomorrow, but they're the retrograde, and they call themselves shatterproof. So what I'm going to do for my Patreon folks is I'm going to see if they're actually shatterproof. I'm going to go up on my roof and I'm going to take a bulb and I'm just going to throw it as hard as I can down on the cement below and see if that actually shatters or not. So I'm going to film that this afternoon as soon as I get done here. I don't know if it is or not. I'm kind of on the fence about what I think. I think it'll probably be okay. I don't think they'll actually shatter. But if you're going to call yourself shatterproof and you ask me to review your stuff, you better be shatterproof and I better put you to the test. So the lights are, oh, yeah, good morning. It's good morning, New Zealand. It's 2 p.m. here in Central Standard Time in the flyover state of Kansas in the Midwest U.S. He's up. So that's coming out tomorrow. They're actually pretty neat. It's what I found out. We had a storm 2 seasons ago take out our pergola. We had we're actually in some parts of the U.S. considered an invasive species, but we had a Bradford pear tree. And I was always worried about that pear tree coming down because that thing just moves with the wind. And it came down on my pergola. It came down, took about a third of the roof out with it. But the main part of the pergola stayed. The frame of it that was not attached to the house wasn't touched, or it was touched, but it wasn't destroyed. So I left those 3 beams standing, and I'm hooking the lights up to those. 101 feet. Not enough, as it turns out. I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. It wasn't enough. 101 feet, 30 bulbs. But luckily, you can connect up to 25 of those. So at some point in time, I'll connect them up and get them all nice and going. But that'll be tomorrow's video. So we've been live for about 7 minutes now. So here in about 5 minutes, I'll make the big announcement that I'm very excited about. A few of you already know what I'm going to talk about. Carl, Braden, Bill, Frank. You guys are already Patreon members of the Patreon family, of which, folks, I'm telling you right now, and I always talk about Patreon a lot during the summer time, springtime. I'm starting something. I don't know. I'm starting something new for my Patreon people, and I don't know how good I'm going to be at it. Mostly because I'm in my late 40s, and this is new technology, and this is technology that all my kids. I'm having to go to my children for assistance. I'm telling you that right now. So I'm setting something new up just for Patreon that we're going to do. It's going to start in July. And I haven't even announced it to them yet what it is, but it's probably not as hard as I'm making it. But for me, it's like it's like learning mapping, or it's like learning Lightorama for the first time. So that's always fun. Did you see Elf's new RC Teddy Sleigh? I did not see that yet. I was just talking before you came on about the weekend we had. It was nonstop Friday to today. Nonstop kids stuff for my boy's 16th. Doris, what did I do? What did you do? What did I do? I don't know what you did, Doris. I don't know. I must have missed something. I did not. But folks, check out Kiwi Christmas. Just go to YouTube, type in Kiwi Christmas, and he's a new channel. So if that doesn't pop up, it should, because it's unique of a name. Go to the filter and click on channels, and that will come down as well. And Lights and Lights got a hold of me just a couple hours ago. He is starting a new chat channel for Christmas light decorators. I'm going to talk with him about that tonight. He asked that I mention that. I don't have the channel name right in front of me because it was something that just popped up. It's a Facebook channel for Christmas light decorators that he is starting. So in next week's live, I'll talk more about that. But that's something new that he started, and good for him. I'm a member of a 3 or 4 Christmas light decorating channels, or pages rather, on Facebook, which I highly recommend. I don't get on there a ton. I also am a paid member of David from Learn Christmas Lighting, the Pixel Light guy. I'm a member of his Christmas Lighting Academy. I do it just to support his channel, much as my Patreon members support me. That's what he does in lieu of Patreon. I don't ever get on there and chat, but that's probably the best page or chat room that I have found is actually David's, but that is a paid. I think it's either $100, $150, or $200 a year. I forget what it actually is. Oh, there he is. Lights on lights. Just talking about you. Just talking about you. So, if you're just now getting on and did not hear what I just said, um, I'll talk more about the page that you started, or if you want to chat about it in the comments below or put a link. Actually, once you put your link to your page in the comments now, if you have time, if you're not in school or running errands or whatever it is you're doing, if you have time, if not, do it next week or send me the link. I'll look up the link and I'll put it up regardless. But that's, we're just talking about you. T-shirt, it's 5 degrees Celsius. Well, here it's warm. It is 77 and climbing right now. It's actually a pretty hot 77. Yep, you're here. So yeah, put that link in there if you can, so folks can see it. We have been live for 11 minutes. I'll give it one more minute. Then I'm going to tell you about the most exciting announcement I've had for a Christmas July extravaganza episode. So I think everybody here has been around. Oh, hey, Gert's here. Greetings all. So we have people from actually Gert travels a lot. I think you're in Belgium right now. I'm not exactly sure where you're at. You travel like I want to travel. If you have not checked out Whiskey Lover Society, the WLS, check him out. He does a lot of traveling, does a lot of great things. The one thing he does that I'm interested in, for me, it's kind of like if whiskey reviewers could do unboxings, because if you do an unboxing video of a whiskey, it's like, okay, here's the whiskey. There's nothing to it, right? But what Gert does that I really enjoy is he travels so often that he does videos. He'll go into duty-free shops and record the whiskey that they have, which I appreciate because you get to see what duty-free shops offer versus if you do a lot of traveling, if you like to collect or purchase whiskey, it's like, do I buy it here at the store or do I gamble? Hopefully it's at the airport on my way back and for a cheaper price. So I appreciate that you do that, Gert. It's kind of neat. So 12 minutes, 34 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make this announcement. So every year I do for July, Christmas is July extravaganza, 15 episodes, 30 days. Do a live giveaway every Monday. I'm giving away things left and right. T-shirts, glasses, coffee mugs, koozies, ornaments. I'm giving away stuff left and right. Cool. I enjoy that. I enjoy the interviews more. Last year I had Novastella on. I had Oliver on from Novastella, one of the engineers, talked all to us about lights. But that's neat that we got somebody on here to talk about how lights are made. What about the creme de la creme, the top tier of all Christmas light decorators? Who is the number one name in Christmas light decorations? Quick guess before I make the reveal. Everybody put down in the comments real quick. What is the number one name in Christmas light media? If you're thinking Christmas lights, if you're thinking animation, who's the number one name? Oh, Denny's in the house. Hey, Denny. Who's the number one name for Christmas that you guys believe? Who's number one? Cheers, mate. Dubai's coming up in a couple weeks' time. I love that. That's awesome. Who's the number one name? Comments are a little below, a little behind, and for some reason I can't scroll down. Well, that's stupid. So I'll just tell you since it's not working for me. Guess who's coming on the show, folks, for Christmas and July extravaganza? I don't have a drum roll or play a drum roll. How about a little? That's right. The Great Christmas Light Fight is coming to Christmas on Crestline. How awesome is that? I got a hold of ABC, and I said, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Charlie from Christmas on Crestline. How about getting the Christmas Light Fight on the show, just for a quick interview to say hi to folks and talk about the ABC show?" And I'm actually surprised. I was telling my family this weekend, I'm like, "Hey, guess who's coming on my show? Great Christmas Light Fight." They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. The Great Christmas Light Fight, 10 seasons on ABC. Every episode, 4 families. One wins $50,000 every single episode. How do you not know who that is?" They're like, "We're not into Christmas lights." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So if you don't know, for For some reason, I can see comments are coming in. For some reason, I just can't scroll down. Nope, there it is. Denny, yep. Light fight. You nailed it. You nailed it, Steve. Yeah. Wow. So I asked, that is cool. I asked ABC, hey, how about getting somebody on the show? And they said nothing. They ghosted me. They didn't say a darn thing. They're like, Charlie, who? What? They're like, no phone. Who dis? No. So I took it upon myself. I took that initiative and I just emailed the executive producer. And I said, hey, would you like to come on the show? And she said, who are you? Okay, so I'm like, hey, I'm Charlie. I run really the only right now, weekly show about Christmas lights on YouTube. And she's all like, well, let me vet you, make sure you're not like a weirdo. Is basically what she said. But she said it politically correct. And then she got back with me. She goes, heck yes, I'll do yours show. She's over across the pond right now filming a different television show. But we're going to get her on here. Not going to be for a live, unfortunately. It is going to be a recorded interview. So if you're one of my Patreon folks right now, I already announced this to you folks, and you guys have given me some great questions to ask. My Patreon folks are going to ask the questions. So if you want to ask a question to the Great Christmas Light Fight, come over to Patreon. You can be like Braden and be a member for as little as $3 a month. You can actually just put in there whatever you want, but there are tiers, but you don't have to follow the tiers. So if you want to ask them a member a question, come on over and talk to us at the Patreon family area. Thank you, Doris. It is going to be epic. I agree. So I am super stoked about that. We have other people coming on for the Christmas July extravaganza to make those announcements. We have David from Learn Christmas Live, and he's going to come back on. We have Angela from Creative Displays. Somebody was just asking me last week, might have been in a video actually, if we're going to have Creative Displays back on, and we are. They have confirmed. We're just waiting to pick out some dates, but David's going to be on. Angela's going to be on. Christmas Light Fight is going to be on. Woo-hoo. And I have one other slot available for now David and Angela are both going to be live episodes. So if you have a Pixel question, like Steve does all Pixels. If you have a question about Pixels, he is the go-to guy on YouTube. It was Jeff from Candace Bader Christmas, but he's kind of taken a hiatus from a show. He hasn't really done anything in almost a year on his channel. So I don't know what's going on. I haven't talked to him in a while. But David is still out there cranking out at least one video about every 10 days. He is the Pixel guy. He's the guy. He's going to be on here for you. And then Angela, who does commercial grade Christmas lights, she owns Creative Displays in the Kansas City area. She is the second owner of that company. Changed hands about, I've been doing lights 12 or 13 years ago. Nice. It is nice. Homer's Arcade. Homer, awesome. Every time I see the word awesome now, since I've seen the Lego movie, everything is awesome, right? Rob, they should add more shows. They don't do enough shows, and they should actually do a show on Halloween lights. It's funny you said that. One of my Patreon folks mentioned that as well as a question. So good job, you. I forget who that. I think it was John that asked that question. And that's really the only other holiday we were thinking. If you did that as a spinoff, Halloween's really the only show you could do. Scott P, frequent commenter on the show, sends in a ton of stuff. He decorates for every holiday, but what other holiday does everybody decorate for? We got Easter, but Easter's really not props. So I think Halloween's probably it. You got the link. Cool. Did you put the link in the chat, or did you send it? If you're talking about the link that you sent me, it's on my phone, and I don't have the ability to get that while I'm doing a live. Halloween was a question that will be asked. More pointedly, are there going to be any spinoffs? As far as them doing new shows, I don't mind their limited amount, and here's why. I can shows that I really like that tend to get ruined. If you think about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, That was a great show when it was on once a week. Then it was on 5 nights a week. And it's like, do I need to watch Wednesday's episode? There's going to be one tomorrow. And if somebody wins $1 million, I'm going to hear about it and I can just watch that episode. Or the NFL. NFL is everywhere now. They made the draft, 3 days long. So overexposure can kill a show. So I don't mind that they do that. Plus, it's seasonal, like Christmas on Crestline, like my YouTube channel. I blow up from October 1st to pretty much New Year's Day. I am on fire. Like right now, I think I stand at about 780. I don't think I've crossed the 800,000 view mark. I'll likely cross 1 million views this year. But Christmas on Crestline is the name of the channel. It's seasonal for search. It's seasonal. Harold agrees with me. Harold, you're a smart man. You should, if I could teach my wife how to agree with me, that'd be a pretty cool trick. She's not paying attention, obviously. In the chat, you did put it in the chat. Okay, good. Doris, what were you talking about for me? What did I do? I was just saying hi to you. You know what there needs to be a way to do? Oh, congratulations. Thank you. There needs to be a way to search just a single person. Because I sit here and I get to chitter chatting with you and I forget to actually watch the chat. Stacy, did they green light? They did green light Fright for 1 year, but I haven't done it since. Interesting. I must have missed that season. Look at Stacy knowing what's going on. Good job, Stacy freaking Parsons. Her middle name, legally speaking. The question. So some questions that the Patreon folks have asked. And I forget, Stacy, what your question was. Yeah, I was going to look it up, but I don't think I can right now. So I think pretty much about, I think we have about 8 or 9 questions for Patreon that are coming through. The thing I'm most curious about, I know. Yeah, Stacy, you asked if what it takes to get on their show, what you need. One thing I've talked to Great Christmas Light Fight before. And specifically, it's Felicia that's coming on. I can't look that up right now. We do this right quick. And I was going to have my computer right here because my computer's got this nice Christmas Light Fight. I got that on brain. Christmas on Crestline sticker. Where did it go? I guess I don't know. That's an email from Stacy Parsons. I'm looking for the wrong. It is Felicia. Yeah, Felicia. What is her last name? Felicia White. She's the executive producer of Great Christmas Light Fight. She is one. She's not the creator. She's been there either from the first year, or the second year. I think the first year, because she was only going to do it for 3 weeks because she was getting ready to get married. So she's like, "Hey, I can give you 3 weeks of my time, but I'm taking time off to get married." And she's in her 10th season. One thing I'm curious about is where they get the cars. I'm guessing car clubs because there's always a red car in them. I'm guessing car clubs. Just reach out to a car club in town, say, "Hey, we need an awesome vintage red car." But what does it take? How good of a video package you need to put together to send to them? I know I've talked to Felicia before, and the question I asked her then is, I asked her several questions, but one question I asked her is, what does it actually take to get on to the show? Now that there's so many people who know about the show, creativity, something they've never seen before, and a wow factor. I can tell you that is actually the actor or the actress, the host of the show, is actually the person who picks the winner. It is not an executive committee. It is not a panel. It is the actual host of the show that does pick it out. Doesn't learn new tricks, folks. There's the wife for you. There's the wife. Looking all dapper, giving her husband a hug in her little thumbnail there. I have a lot of lights, but the big attractions are interactive and homemade or by you or one of my designs. Okay. Talking about Carl. Do they go to the houses a couple of times before they put you on? Because some of the houses that should not be on the show. So as I understand it, and that's a good question, Rob. As I understand it, you send them tape of the show. I remember their second or third season, they had a house that was just outlined in pixel lights. Very cool, but nothing grandiose, nothing over the top, no wow factor. But one thing they said is, hey, we got into pixel lights because of the Great Christmas Light Fight. So I don't know if that was a filler. They didn't win. I don't know if they were a filler, if they were a last minute, we need to have somebody, or why exactly that house is on. But there are people on there that really probably shouldn't have been on. Now, for my money, Stacey Parsons needs to be on that show. You do. You need to send your tape in, and I hope you're part of the because it won't be alive. But I'm hopefully after the interview comes out, hopefully I have a view count. And I never care about view counts. I do this because I have fun. But hopefully, because we're talking to an ABC exec, I'm hoping the view count is high enough that she'll come back to do a live episode. So that is the one episode I'll actually say share, send people out, get people to watch that episode, because I would love to have her back. I would love for her to be a resource for us as a Christmas light community, just to sit around and talk with and have banter with, and use her as a sounding board. I agree. Team too much with some of these TV shows. Yeah, there are. See, 100%. So anyway, to get back to your question, Rob, you send them a tape in, and no, they don't go to your house ahead of time. I don't believe they take you at your word on your tape, and then they go to your house. It was in September. They were doing September as a show, but some parts of the country, it's still too hot in September. So they're like, okay. Some people had to start putting up in July, their Christmas show in July. So now they come out in October, November, and do their filming there, and they edit it and crank it out really quickly. Yes, Stacey Parsons should be on. Boom. Yeah, and Stacey does have a wow factor to her house. She absolutely does. True story. I was lucky enough to win the 2018 Kansas Christmas Light Fight for my show, and I do not have a over the top show. The difference for me is I live in Wichita, Kansas, and believe it or not, Wichita has one house, 500,000 people in this town. We have one house that does pixel lights, and it's just an outline of pixels, which is another reason why I've always been tempted to jump over to the pixel side, just because it doesn't exist in Wichita for whatever reason. 500, largest city in Kansas, don't have one. Kind of weird. We were contacted by one of the producers last year about being on the show, but then decided that we needed to grow our show more. So that's why I was curious about what they look for. Got you. And so, yeah, that's what they look for. A wow factor, something grandiose. And what they said is, and it wasn't Felicia, it was the other producer, and I forget her name. Top of my head, I don't remember, but she said it's kind of like watching a YouTube video or a TikTok. You want your attention grabbed in that first 5 to 15 seconds, like, wow, this is neat. So when the lights, they do that big countdown, 3, 2, 1, then all the lights come on, and they want their attention grabbed from the get-go, whether that be eye candy, strobes, DMX, whatever. That's one thing they look for, is for eye-catching ability, not necessarily shock value, but definitely awe value. ABC. Yep. Did I say? I must have said something different. Yeah, it's on ABC. See here. Steve says they are great to talk to, but they are great to talk to. I have been asked to be on the show, but moved. Yes, you did move. Was it AJ that you were talking about? I don't know. The only AJ I know is from the whiskey side of things. Oh, no, for producers. No, it was not AJ. I can find it. It'd take too long to find it. But Christmas Expo did a symposium with the Great Christmas Light Fight producers. And all about, man, it was a wealth of knowledge. And I'll put a link to that when I release that interview with Felicia. I'll put a link to the Christmas Expo version of the interview down as well. And you guys can go check on that. Christmas Expo is a hugely awesome show. Joyce and Janice run that. I've had them on the show last season or 2 seasons ago. I had Joyce and Janice on the show for the Christmas and July extravaganza, and their YouTube channel is so sorely lacking. It frustrates me that no one goes to the channel. They just don't crank out enough content. I think they have 37 subscribers and 7 videos. I wish that they really would concentrate on their YouTube side of things, because I think they could just rule YouTube on the Christmas version if they ever decided to get serious about YouTube. I would love them as a resource. Homer says, it's my second season doing pixels only. I'm already setting up my display because I'm learning as I go. Nothing wrong with that. Real world, real-time errors, and that's actually a pretty neat thing. That you're pretty good idea. If you have the support from your family and the support from your neighbors, like what's that guy doing? The great thing about doing pixels versus strings like I do is pixels, you can easily adapt your show for any holiday. Easter, Memorial Day is coming up, 4th of July, Mother's Day, Kids Day, lunar eclipse. You can do anything with pixels because you can morph the colors. Kind of like what I have on all. I have a ton of Nova Stella floodlights on the front of my home, and I can make them any color I want at any time and do just a ton of stuff with. Carl says 321 Kiwi Christmas 4 a.m. Nope, Ferris wheel. That would work as a wow factor, 100%. My opinion, I don't think pixel light should be on the Great Christmas Light Fight, especially against regular houses. Now, there is some debate to that. You nailed it, Rob. There is debate of vintage, so blow molds, string lights, incandescents versus LEDs versus pixels. There has been some debate, and that was a question that I've heard them answer before. We can certainly look into asking them that again, but I've heard their answer is it's all up because the host of that episode is the person who chooses the winner. They want to give them a mixture of vintage, a mixture of pixels, a mixture of new age, of new tech, and the host can just figure out what they want when they give them a buffet of options. So the one debate is it should be an episode of all pixels. It should be an episode of all blow molds. It should be an episode of all incandescents, of all LEDs. But that's one reason why they don't do that, is because the host actually does decide they want to give them the ability to choose different platforms. Frank says, I made my local paper in 2020 last year, was first with my pixels on my house. I'm the third house in the city with 80,000 with pixels. Very nice. You should be on the front of the paper, especially if you're the first person with pixels. We've been on the front of the page. We've been lucky enough to be on the front page here 3 or 4 times. We were hiking in Colorado one year. I forget why we were out of town during Christmas, but we were. But we got a call like, hey, have you seen the paper? Like, no, we're out of town. You made the front page. I'm like, yes. So I, of course, have a stack of newspapers sitting in my closet, all of the front page. I only really need 1 or 0 of them. We don't have stuff like that in New Zealand, but maybe that is something we could go on YouTube. More work. And folks, again, if you haven't checked out Kiwi Christmas, type in Kiwi Christmas on your YouTube search engine. And if that is a new channel, if it doesn't go to Kiwi Christmas, go on the filters and click on channel, and that will take you to the Kiwi Christmas channel. Boom, Rob agrees. So there is some legitimate debate about that, and I get that, but I am curious about why they haven't had a spinoff. Stacy said they did the Fright Night or Halloween Lights one year, but have not gone back to it. I'm just laughing at Carl. 222 days. That's funny. Good for you. I lost my train of thought. But normally when you go to a spinoff, it's because you have a very popular show. Well, they've been on for 10 seasons. You'd think they'd have a very popular show. See, Sam. There was a guy on season 5 that incorporated pixels along with regular LED string lights, and he put on a heck of a show. It was amazing to see the two came together to create different colors. that is my favorite, is pixels and LEDs. You can do so much with that. With pixels, I like it makes it a legitimate, in my opinion, makes it a legitimate light show rather than a seasonal show. I like that. Now, when we were at, Gina and I went to Trans World Christmas Light Show last year, not this year, and the guy who was on there, he won an episode, and he, what do they call it, the P lights, P stems. His last name is PEAS or something. But he has one little string of LEDs, plugs into the ground. Peace sticks, that's what they're called. Peace. Last name was Peace. That's right. Peace sticks. The Peace family. They won that one. He was there talking about what it was like to be on the show. And he said, other than the fact he's putting Christmas lights up in September, and you had to invite. They don't get the crowd for you. You invite the neighborhood, church groups, stuff like that. You have to get your own crowd there. But that's one thing he was talking about is any eggnog. EB Bud, any eggnog? Nope, no eggnog here. No eggnog. Never been a fan of eggnog myself. I don't know why. Rob says, I just put all my Christmas lights away and it feels like I'm going to be taking them back out again. Yep. I agree with you. And I don't know how many more years I have left of me to put up my lights. Get up on the roof. At some point, I'm going to fall off. Well, those of you who watch my lives know when I talk about different things, different portions of the show, I got stuck on the roof because my back went out when I was taking the lights down. All I did is I turned to my right and boom, my back was done. I instantly fell to the ground, and I'm smart enough to have a cell phone with me at all times. I called the wife as I stared up at the sun and said, hey, can you come up on the roof real quick? Why? Just come up on the roof. So luckily my son was up because she couldn't get me up. Anyway, I'm getting old. At some point in time, I'll need to switch to pixels or switch to mapping permanently, just because it incredibly reduces the amount of time for put up and take down. Josh's Lights is here. Hey, Josh. I just got in a magazine for my Christmas light display. That's awesome. What magazine? If it's highlights, that's awesome, because I was just in a doctor's office and I didn't know they still made highlights. So that's very cool. I got interviewed by a magazine in Kansas City a few years ago for Creative Displays, but I couldn't tell you which one it was. I think this year I'm going to buy a harness. I have used a harness once and they're pretty dang handy. The only reason I don't use it here is my trees just aren't big enough. But that's awesome. And fun fact, they sell them on Amazon. So if you know what you're doing, they're pretty dang neat. Let's Dora saying we are a divided house about eggnog. Hubby is not a fan. A house divided. I agree with that. I used to be a KU fan until I got married. My wife says, you're not a KU fan anymore. You're a K-State fan now. Yes, dear. So house divided. I get that. Eggnog. I don't know if Gene likes eggnog or not. We've never had around the house. I didn't grow up around eggnog, which is probably why I don't like eggnog now, because I didn't grow up with people drinking eggnog. So I don't know. That was Josh saying it was a small local magazine, Main and Broad in Holly Springs, North Carolina. Holly Springs, that is a cool name of a town. Just saying, it's a very cool name. Let's see what we're doing here. So that is coming out. So we got great. I'm just excited about that, because last live, I'm like, might have been 2 lives ago. I'm like, hey, I invited them out. They politely declined. Turns out Felicia's all about it. So I should have asked. I was curious to ask, hey, what show are you filming right now? But I did not. She fixed me. I guess she is watching. I didn't think she was watching. Yep, she fixed me. Yep. KU just won the national championship, but I'm a K-State fan. Let's see what questions y'all got. Y'all got any questions? So, like I said, for Great Christmas Light Fight, my Patreon, the family members will be asking the questions. But if you have a question, and you're not a Patreon member, what is that? I might let one go through from that are not Patreon members. Probably won't, because Patreon. I don't know. If somebody has like an amazing question, then I'll let that one sneak through, because you guys are asking all great questions, all things I'm curious about. And one reason I wanted that to be alive is because I'm going to ramble on, because I'm a fan of the show. So I'm going to ramble on. I'm like, oh, what about this? Oh, what about this? So I told her to be structured. I would submit her 10 to 15 questions from my Patreon folks and what they want to know. That way she kind of has the cadence of the interview will go as planned. That way she'll kind of know what questions to ask. She's the executive producer of the show, so she's going to know all the questions or know all the answers. And I might ask one or two off the cuff. What does eggnog taste like? Never had it. As I understand it, it is rum. And is it the yellow part of the egg or egg whites? What is it? Anybody actually know what eggnog is? Alexa, what ingredients are in eggnog?
To make 6 servings of eggnog, you'll need 4 egg yolks, 1/3 cup sugar, plus 1 tablespoon, 1 pint whole milk,
Milk, eggs, sugar, heavy cream,
1 teaspoon freshly grated nutmeg, and 4
bourbon, nutmeg.
Those are all the ingredients.
Okay, so I'm down with the bourbon and nutmeg. I thought rum went in there. Boom. Lift Charlie, yeah. Right off the roof. Alexa, stop. She just kind of goes on. Apparently she thought I said repeat. So Angela from Creative Displays will be on. I asked her, I told her we could just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Whatever new tech she has coming on. And I'm telling you, I knew Angela 12 years ago. I think I met her for the first time. And I went to she had an open house that she invited me to. I drove up to Kansas City, checked out her open house, and had a bunch of cool stuff. And back in the corner, she had one tree of pixel lights. One. And she caters to, she only does commercial grade lighting. But she had one 12-foot pixel tree there. Now they specialize in 12-foot pixel trees that are pre-programmed. I had her on last March when we interviewed her at the Christmas light show in St. Louis, and she had all of her. And she has a freaking tunnel you drive through, not like a tunnel you see in somebody's driveway. A legit tunnel that a car can drive through. I believe is it 300 feet long? I forget how it is, but it's all pixel programmed. It's super neat. So that's kind of what she's specializing in now. And Angela, if you're watching, if you ever want to sponsor me, I will take out my entire backyard to have that tunnel back there. So if you want me to review your tunnel, by all means, send it my way. It's like a $25,000 tunnel. So if you want to give that to me for free, that'd be awesome. I guess you listened to me because I said a while back that you should. Yeah, okay, it was Rob. Okay, I knew somebody was asked about that, and I couldn't remember who. So it was Rob. So yeah, Angela will be back. I was talking about you in the first few seconds, Rob. Like somebody said that, I can't remember who, but it was Rob. So she'll be on. David from Learn Christmas Lighting will be on, and I still have that one time slot. I was going to have Nova Stella back on because I enjoy Nova Stella. I just really do. You don't get too many for me, and I'm not a Nova Stella apologist, but I am a fanboy. And the difference to me is if they make a crap product, I'm going to tell you it's horrible. So, but they have not yet. They have actually. I do have Nova Stella that should be arriving today. So that I've never tested out for them. So that should be arriving today. That I'll be doing so I do have 2 more spring lighting series coming up. I forgot that should be arriving today. I have another patio light, and then I have another Nova Stella light that I'm going to try out. But anyway, I wanted them on the show, but Oliver retired and Callie retired, and their new media person just quit and went to different jobs. So they don't have anybody to talk to me. Like, all right. So I asked On For You, who I just did a review on their RGB LED boom bass speakers, and they said, we'd love to, just we don't have any employees that speak English. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I don't have anybody for that time slot. So I do have one interview time slot left that I do need to fill. Great Christmas live show. Oh, yes. Okay, yes. So got you. Yes, so they will be on. They will be on, which is awesome. Josh says Field Stream Farm here in Willow Springs, North Carolina, has a 500-foot tunnel, 30,000 Christmas lights. That is awesome. And I wonder if that's not the same one Angela does. That it's a legit awesome tunnel. It's probably my favorite thing that Creative Displays does. Josh says in a whole drive-through light. Oh, well, that's what hers is. It's a light frame display. I almost want to say you can get a semi truck through it, but I don't know if that's the if she has the tunnel, you can get a semi truck through or not. But I want another company on because I like variations like David's Pixels, and he does a YouTube channel. Cool. Angela does commercial grade. Cool. But Noah Stella does floodlights and smart technology. So I want somebody from that. I just don't have any other connections with smart people. I don't have any connections with smart Christmas light equipment. I know tons of smart people. Not two, but including my wife. So yeah, if you guys have connections with a company you would like to see on here, or if there's a company in general you'd like to see on here, let me know and I'll reach out to them. I did reach out to Wintergreen Corporation. I've not heard back from them yet, but I'm okay if they say no or just don't even respond. Really, I mean, I like them. But I just haven't used them in about 10 years. And the person I knew that worked there is no longer there. But they're pretty similar to Creative Displays. I want somebody different. I want somebody new. Carl says more on homemade props and more info on pre-programmed strings. Carl is the king of homemade props and pre-programmed. But pre-programmed strings, my favorite pre-programmed strings. I did an episode last November, maybe October, of wearable Christmas lights. And spoiler alert, I'm having another one coming this year. That's even bigger and better. But I had a company. Companies reach out to me all the time, and you guys see maybe 20% of the stuff companies send me or want to send me. And most of the time, I say thank you, but no. I turned down 4 of them today. I had an influx of. Anyway, you get somebody who will get a Christmas light, but that company that makes a Christmas light will sell it to 4 other sub companies who all reach out to me with the same exact product. 90% of the time, I catch it. That one I didn't. And I'm like, I already did an episode about this exact light. I'll turn them into wearable Christmas lights because they're exact same make and model. So, but the wearable Christmas lights I liked a lot. Warm for Halloween, warm up and down to talk to the crowd during this year's show as it gathered. Wearable Christmas lights are coming, and they're so easy to do. So you just plug them into a cell phone battery, the external charger. It's freaking neat. What are the top 3 light show companies right now? For Pixels, Pixels, you got probably Boscoyo. For Pixel props, number 1 is Boscoyo. I'm gonna have some stuff from them on Christmas and July Extravaganza. Spoiler alert! Wasn't going to announce that, but it was all in my head, and I couldn't stop myself. Boscoyo props will be on here. I haven't heard from the company yet. But for me, Creative Displays, just because they offer free shipping 90% of the year. The only time they don't offer free shipping is during their pre-sale in January. And they have great quality. In my 12 years, I've had 1 bulb go out of 1 item, and that was just this last season. 1,000 Lights is always popular. Wintergreen Corp. But the problem with Wintergreen Corp is your minimum order to get free shipping. It's either $5,000 or $25,000. I don't order that much. They cater more towards municipalities. Carl, what is the biggest company? Who do you buy your pixels from? Steve and Carl. Let's see. Rob, Steve, Carl. Who do you? Stacy, if you're still in here, where do you get your lights from? And who here? Does anybody here already have Boscoyo props? If you don't know, they're corrugated plastic. They're huge in the pixel light industry and not as big as they probably should be in the string light industry. Have not on my show or my shelf. I have neither. I have neither. Lightorama would be a good one. Yeah. And then there's a new company just came out, Dave's Pixel something. It's brand. Well, I'll say they're brand new. They've been around for about 2 years. Yeah, there's a lot of companies. Maybe I'll have a Pixel Light company on. I'm not a Pixel Light guy, but maybe I'll have a Pixel Light company on. It's a good idea. I'll try to do that. As Carl's saying, there's a lot better tech coming out with USB charging via power bank. There is, and I'm a huge fan of that. Simply because that's how I power my wearable lights. Man, they just sew them into your clothing right out the door. Put the cell phone battery in your pocket, and you're good to go. Which is exactly how I made my wearable Christmas lights. One good thing about Boscoyo is if you have an idea for a prop, they'll make it. So if you want like drumline, if you guys remember high school and drumlines, you had the quads. We had four drums right in front of you. If you want that as a prop, they'll make it for you. Giant guitar, a giant cowboy hat. They'll make it all wearable for you. You just have to call and let them know. And it's like $8 for one of the talking Christmas trees. It's like $5, $6, $7, $8. It's insanely cheap. Let's see here. Yeah, I meant to have him on this channel. Yep. Yeah, I know what you meant. I need to reach out to him. In fact, I'm going to do that. Rob. As soon as we get done with this live, I was going to write it down, but I didn't bring my piece of paper with me. I'll reach out to them. That'd be a fun one to have on here. You're right. I wonder why no one's ever had him, because Dave's never had him on the channel. Jeff at Kenneth Spader Christmas has never had them on the channel. I wonder why. The nice guys. Gene talked to a couple of them at the expo. They'd be a couple fun guys to have on. They're pretty nice guys there. Carl says, I don't get pixels. Our lights are just RGB. Okay. Old school RGB 8 function controller. That's right. Here in New Zealand, Lightworks, but they are just a branch of another company. Okay. See, that's what I really like about the lives is I get so many good ideas just from the chitter chatting. And Lights and Lights, if you're still on here, that's what I hope the channel you're putting together on Facebook or page rather. Hope that is what that turns out to be. So we're going 53 minutes. We'll go another 5 or so minutes here, and we'll jump off. I was just real excited about getting the Christmas light fight on here. Man, that's neat. That's neat. Let's see here. And so we've had New Zealand on here today. We've had Belgium on here today. Somebody else. Who else is from out of the country? I know we had 3 people from out of the country on here. Rob's America. I don't know. Somebody else is on here. And I can't see all the comments. That's bugging me. All my props are okay. Very cool. I guess I didn't realize that. Anytime I talk to anybody who works in the flat company, always seems very cool and answers all my questions. Okay. That's one thing I love about the Christmas light industry. Everybody's helpful. Everybody wants everybody else to do better than them or better than they could. That's one good thing about it. So you don't get that in other industries. Not a lot of other industries, but we're all fans of one another. We're all like the camaraderie of one another. Oh, that's my favorite part of being in the Christmas light industry is just sitting around and having a chitter chat with you folks. And luckily today my camera didn't bounce back and forth. I took care of that before I hit start this time. Good times. All right. Any last questions? We're going to sign off here in just a few minutes. Any last questions? Again, if you want to ask the Great Christmas Light Fight, I'll be refilming that. I guess it's still a month out. It's still a month out before I film that, or 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah, I brag about ourselves all the time. I have never in 12 or 13 years of hanging the lights. Never in, this is my 5th year for the channel, but really going into the 5th year, 4 years, because I started the channel just to have the ability to share our Christmas light show with families with our family around the country that don't live here in town. And then the next year, then I decided, okay, well, let's make this into a legit Christmas channel. So next year, or what I consider to be my 5th year anniversary, oh man, we'll be doing some big stuff for that. Big stuff for that. Let's see here. My internet is messing up. I met anybody who works for a Ladorama. Okay. Right. I'm like, you like the people who work in the flat. Okay. I'm glad it's not Hilly, but Ladorama. Okay. Yeah. Ladorama. We met so many people in one person, another channel, another really cool channel for you pixel light guys is Ron Howard from Extreme Sequences. If you are a pixel light person and you have not watched Ron Howard, he does what my dream job is. My dream job is somebody says, "Hey Charlie, I want to hire you to do our YouTube channel for our light company." I'm like, yes, I'll do that. I'll talk about Christmas lights and RGB lights and all things lighting all day long, 5 days a week or once a week or whatever. That's my dream job for a company to reach out and say, "Hey, we want to hire you." That'd be pretty cool. But never have I ever seen, I've never seen one argument, is my point, of anybody in our Christmas light industry. But if you do pixel lights and you haven't watched Ron Howard, watch Ron Howard. He's a professional animator. He sells professional looking shows. I've said this 18 times before. I'll say it again. Anybody who happens to have my exact software, which is Prism, is called, I'll just give you my shows. I'll just give you all my software. I'll email that to you in a link. I'll just share that with you. You just have to have the exact one, and hardly anybody ever does. But his, you pay for it. If I ever switch, I'm dropping 500, and I'm getting 13 songs from him, and I'm doing my whole thing just from his program for year one, just to get me off the ground, just to teach me things. If you haven't watched Ron Howard from Extreme Sequences, watch him. He does a bunch of neat programming. Yeah, she did, Rob. She did. She's good to remind me of such things. Carl says, thanks, Charlie. I've noticed an increase in views on Facebook from the States. Thanks, Elfs. Love you. Have a great night. We'll see you, Carl. We'll see you. Carl's on the other side of the pond in New Zealand. Ron Howard is, Ron, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I met him the first time 2 years ago at in the St. Louis at the Christmas Light Show. Nice guy. And for me, I prefer people who do in front of camera. He does off camera. He very rarely is he ever on camera. But for him, I love that he's off camera and you can only hear his voice because he has a voice for radio. He has a very distinct voice and you can hear the animation in his voice. So I love the fact that he's behind the camera rather than in front of the camera. That is dang neat. So yes, he is. You're not wrong. All right, so we're at an hour. I'm going to go ahead and take off here. Check us out on Patreon and come and support the show. That's Amazon. Check us out on Patreon. There we go. Check us out on Patreon. Become a Patreon member for as little as $3 a month. Support the show. Get to ask questions. You get first access to discount codes, coupon codes. You get to ask questions to our interviewees, a bunch of neat stuff. Check us out on Patreon. That's about it for me today, guys. Thank you ever so much for being on the show. As soon as I find my brand new sign-off panel, and yes, Patreon folks, I did remember to change it. I'm Charlie. I'll see you in the next video.